So it turns out I thought I was done with my Dragon's Dogma 2 videos, or talking about Dragon's Dogma 2, on Dragon's Dogma and Dark Arisen. And it turns out I was wrong, because I've been thinking about the discussion that my feelings about it and all the videos that I put together to talk about it. And I spoke about dragon fights in Dragon's Dogma 2, and I said, I don't know what they've done, but they're worse. And then, on reflection of having sort of uploaded all my videos and just thinking about this, well, it's very clear. It's very clear why things are worse. So the first thing I want to draw attention to is the size of things, the scale of things, of doors, of walls, of pots, of arisens and pawns and enemies and everything else in the engine of Dragon's Dogma / Dark Arisen, and then in the engine of the RE engine of Dragon's Dogma 2. Generally speaking, everything from pots to boxes to, everything in scale is scaled down in size in the RE engine. This is kind of quite jarring for me as a base Dragon's Dogma / Dark Arisen player for all of these years. The other thing and glaring difference is in the actual vocations and how they are. So if I actually press the correct button, and I've spoke about this before, and I have an Arisen which has bow and dagger, and there's Ashton who is a ranger, which my daughter made, and both of these have a double jump. But the double jump for bow class people doesn't exist in Dragon's Dogma 2, because they took away the daggers and they took away the difference. There's a big difference. They made a difference, not took away. They made a difference between the bow class, which obviously had daggers as well in Dragon's Dogma / Dark Arisen, and then obviously the lack of daggers and the change in the vocation, which meant no double jump for the bow. So you wouldn't, as a player, you would not jump on enemies as much. In fact, the Strider class in Dragon's Dogma / Dark Arisen had a speed boost when you actually got on enemies and clung to enemies. And then you could go about the different points on the enemies, and you could use this skill, which I have equipped, called 100 Kisses with your daggers. Obviously, in Dragon's Dogma 2, they didn't go with daggers and took out the double jump. Now, the double jump functionality, I'm going to be showing this in a minute, because I've positioned myself. I thought, where can I go for a dragon fight? So we're in the Bitter Black. And we're in the Bitter Black simply because my levels are, I'm level 200, I'm completely OP for the base kind of dragons in the game at the moment, so the only place I can go for some kind of fight is the Bitter Black, and I'll be shredding this dragon in a minute. But in Dragon's Dogma, what you've got is you've got elevation changes, some elevation changes. Now, generally out in the open world, you're climbing on rocks and you might be jumping off of rocks. Maybe you're double jumping off of rocks to grab onto Cyclops, to grab onto Chimera, to grab onto ogres, to grab onto dragons, drakes, worms, wyverns, whatever. Maybe you're using your double jump to do that. And this is something about the combat that was really cool in Dragon's Dogma / Dark Arisen. This is one of the changes that the differences in Dragon's Dogma 2, which for me made the combat more boring. So it was fun to just get elevation changes, double jump Geronimo onto an enemy, and then just start fighting it. Now, if you're lower levels and you're actually being able to have fights, whereas I'm OP and I'm just shredding everything, if you're lower levels and you're able to have those kind of really close fights and stuff, the combat is exhilarating, right? And if you put in the double jump and you're jumping off of things onto your dragons and clinging onto the tails and stuff, and not only that, but the upgrading system's been changed. So when you beat a dragon in the base Dragon's Dogma / Dark Arisen, you might get, if your equipment isn't what they call Dragon Forged, you might get it Dragon Forged after a fight with a dragon. And it might not be Dragon Forged after a fight with a dragon. So there were different percentage chances of different pieces of clothing being forged by the different varieties of dragons in the game at different stages, right? But obviously they changed the dragon forging in Dragon's Dogma 2. So you pick up these crystals from your dragon fight and take them to the dragon forged guy on the volcanic island, and then you get them dragon forged there. And it's just like, I don't know why they've made these changes, but it all boils down to the dragon fights being a lot less kind of key in Dragon's Dogma 2 and a lot less interesting, a lot more boring. And there are other changes to do with the movement and the RE engine, like I say, in scale and other things that it does. Let's go and fight a dragon anyway. In Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen on PS4, let's go and fight a dragon. So, Geronimo! Oh, am I going to grab it? Oh, yes, I did. I thought for a minute I was gonna end up falling all the way down. Well, I can't really get any higher because of the way that this is, so let's just bring it down. Right, so, yeah, these gargoyles are after me. Everything's target dualism, doesn't it? Grab onto its chest and shred it. But you get the general idea. There is less incentive to jump on enemies because they've taken out daggers. This is generally how it works. Oh, its heart is on its back in it, because white is... Sorry, me being dumb. Drakes have their hearts on the chest, but this is in fact the wyvern electric stuff. I'm going to need some more stamina anyway, because it's been throwing me off. Unless that... You see, I'm just OP, I'm just shredding. But yeah, there's just less incentive to actually bother grabbing onto dragons in Dragon's Dogma 2. Absolutely. Break the horns, you get stuff for upgrades. So hopefully my pawns have nacked the gargoyles while I was chatting to you and just absolutely making mincemeat of this wyvern. But yeah, it's just something I thought about, you know, like, so why do I feel that the dragon fights were more boring in Dragon's Dogma 2? And like I say, the only reason that is this wyvern fight really wasn't much of a fight, it was just like this, what I looked at it and it died, is because I am completely OP and my augment setup means that when I actually climb on it, I'm doing it all kinds of damage, silly numbers. So yeah, and if you think, well, I should turn the difficulty up and stuff, I have completed on a hard mode. I've done all that, and I know this game pretty much inside out. So I don't believe this game is hard at all. It's just like, you know, it's Dragon's Dogma. I play it, and therefore it is what it is. But yeah, boring fights for dragons in Dragon's Dogma 2. I do believe that the way that they've changed the class system and the graphical engine, and I've spoke about some kind of physics changes and stuff, and also the incentivization to go looking for dragons, because in this game, and you know, in base Dragon's Dogma and Dragon's Dogma 2, the dragons were actually the thing that you needed to dragon forge your equipment. And I know they kind of are in the second game as well, but you're getting the crystals from them. So even if you're fighting a dragon and you're knocking some crystal off it, and the dragon's not dying, and it's gone away. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if you actually beat the dragon, there was an opportunity, like an opportunity, percentage opportunity to Dragon Forge your gear. And just while I'm here, while I've got the game on and my headphones and the will and the inclination to talk about stuff, I watched another video, and I've been checking out a few videos from Shills. Oh my goodness, Shills. Thank you, Capcom. Well, you're a shill then. No, proper people who talk about stuff, we actually pay for our stuff. Yeah, we pay for it, we don't get it given. Oh, that doesn't influence me. Oh no. Sure, yeah. And then the other guy that I watched was not incentivized. He did seemingly buy the product, and he reviewed it on PC. And he was one of the another in the very long line of people who had not played the first game to any kind of extent. And just talking about playing the game, it's like I don't just go through the story, right? I love absolutely everything about this game, and one of the criticisms about people like me when they talk about a game that I know like the back of my hand is, oh well, you're hardcore, oh well, we don't all get the time to do these. I've been playing this game for years. It's been out for 12 years. I just adore this game. I don't play it for any other reason than I really enjoy it. And all my time in this game, every second has been because I've really enjoyed it. So, but hey, you're hardcore, eh? Anyway, just my thoughts on why Dragon's fights are more boring in Dragon's Dogma 2. Take care.